Here's Breaking Bad Season 5, Episode 12, or you can also call it Season 5, Part 2, Episode 4, titled Rabid Dog. And who is the Rabid Dog? It could be anybody. But Jesse says the line of Part 2, Season 5, or the sentence or the monologue of Part 2, Season 5, when he's talking to Hank about Walter White. He says, whenever you think it's going to happen one way, the exact opposite of what you think is going to happen happens. And that's basically what he says about Walter White. And he's right in many ways, where it kind of sums up Walt in a nutshell. I've been thinking a lot about this, and I think that someone was saying, I was thinking about that, and I haven't really come to the conclusion yet. And I was just like reading someone's blog comment on a review, and they kind of nailed it. So I apologize that if I'm kind of ripping off this person's idea, but I think he's right on. So whoever that blogger made that comment in that random review, thank you very much. But Jesse basically sums up Walt in a nutshell. Walter White is a great chemist, master chemist. It's been proven that, but he's a bad scientist, because scientists can see 5 steps ahead and see the plans that come to fruition. Walt can make good products, but he's a bad scientist. He can't see the results happening later on, which makes him very emotional, in which you understand why, beginning of Walt, why he was stuck as a science teacher, who was overqualified as a science teacher, because he is not a good scientist, even though he's a masterful chemist. And that's the ego of Walter White. Walter White wants to be in charge, wants to be the leader. He always has. That's what's taken him to who he is, as he is now after the cancer diagnosis. He's a man that basically is a great second fiddle to a great scientist. Can get some shit done in the chemistry room, and the scientist can basically come up with his plans. But Walt wants to be the scientist and the chemist at the same time, and that's what sometimes evil occurs when someone is so misreads who they are as a human being that they go down the wrong path, and they get angry when they want to be somebody else. It's almost like a great character actor who constantly thinks he's a leading man, so always goes after the leading man roles, but is a great character actor. You can make a good living, you can have a good career, be a character actor, but he wants to be the leading man, and he's not a leading man, and that's sort of what Walter White is. Jesse and Hank team up. You kind of saw this happening, but if you don't mind it happening, because you kind of saw it happen a couple years ago, but you don't mind it because this is covered the way things need to go. Walt's rationale, he always thinks if he just can talk to Jesse like in a rational way, then all will be fine. That's what makes Walt a bad scientist, because he doesn't see the what has occurred with Jesse, what he's turned Jesse into. Skyler and Saul both want him to kill Jesse, because they know that when Jesse's dead, their own lives are going to be safety. So it's all this selfishness going on. Lots of anticipation in this episode. It seems like everyone underestimates Jesse, which has kind of been one of the themes of Breaking Bad. Jesse always been the one who's underestimated. Walt is a bad liar to his family, which he gets worse and worse. Like every time he's been lying to his family, he gets worse and worse. His whole exchange with like how the gas occurred in the house, it was kind of comical. And Walt Jr. is like, "Dad, stop lying to us." And the parallel between Walter Jr. and Jesse, it's like Walt is like kind of a father figure to Jesse, and basically is the father of Walter Jr. And all Walt thinks is that if he just communicates them, even though if it's a lie, it doesn't matter. If he just communicates them in a rational way, their problems will be solved in the long run, which of course isn't logical, and is a bad scientist by doing that. And basically Walt is always thinking about Jesse is not his son, and he's like family, but he isn't family, as Walt as quote unquote said. And basically in the end, Jesse has another plan, because he wants to put Walt where his place is, and that's where we go. End of episode 12, Breaking Bad season 5.